Hi, this is Kee Lock. You can ask me anything. I'm curious about your view on the whole startup ecosystem in Singapore as compared to Silicon Valley or Israel. We are constantly facing the issue of finding willing venture capitalists that invest in brand new ideas that could be crazy an idea as no market demand. Just yet, it becomes a barrier for anyone to spin any ideas, getting funding, building it out. Well, US venture capital industry started actually in 1950s. It took them a while to develop and grow to where they are to have such a complete ecosystems. Israel venture capital industry started in early 90s and then grew and become where they are today. Singapore venture capital industry actually is relatively young. Started in the late 90s with the NSTB, National Technology Science Foundation or board, I guess. The initial funding to create and to support the startup ecosystem, and that initial funding created some initial good venture capital firm and some startup. Unfortunately, we had a dot-com bubble subsequently, and that whole effort was stopped. And subsequently, National Research Foundation restarted the effort about 15-20 years ago with the new funding to reinvigorate the startup ecosystems. And this have developed to today where we are. Now, generally in Singapore startup system, in the Series A and C stage, generally speaking, there's no lack of money. In the later stage, B and C and beyond, there's clearly a continue to have funding gap. Having said that, today we all are facing a challenging time in Southeast Asia, largely because of the overinvestment in 2020-21. Many of these startups perhaps should not be funded, receive certain funding, and then many of them have struggled. As a result, this resulted in many of the venture capital firms who back some of these startups similarly struggle. And because of all these challenges facing the startup and some of these venture firms, venture capitalists generally in these sectors, in these regions are more risk averse, and they are more less receptive to investing in certain startups. So therefore, I think in this period of time, it's unusual. Some people call it funding winter, but I believe this will eventually get through. Hopefully, over a period of time, some of these startups will pass through and get through their challenges and eventually become a much better company and then generate returns for investors. As to your questions about crazy idea, I should mention that not every venture capital firm will invest in the moonshot ideas. Now, this is because every idea requires certain knowledge, understanding of the sector, where they see the capabilities, and depending on a venture firm, some venture firms are just not suited for this some of this idea. Where in Southeast Asia, tech and deep tech, do you see the biggest opportunities ahead and why? Well, as a general, landscaping of the region, healthcare sector generally represent a huge sector in this region because of aging population, and generally this is a sector whereby in Southeast Asian market, the governments believe that this is an important area to address, and therefore there's a lot of opportunities for technology-enabled startups to serve this growing sector. Fintech continue to be an important sector, especially there are many underserved user and consumer in many countries, and of course application AI in many sectors remains to be a big growing sector. And last but not least, of course, semiconductors sectors is increasingly become important in this region because many global firms are looking to diversify their supply chain, are looking to invest and in other potential or even buying for other supplier in other regions. So that gives the opportunity for some of the startups in this region in semiconductor area. Last but not least, Southeast Asia is a 600 million people population, young population, relatively savvy in terms of mobile utilization. So therefore, in this area, I believe that there's a lot of opportunities to figure out how to provide a technology or solution to tap on this, this big pool of consumer, this pool of savvy consumer. Thanks for this initiative. Based on the Vertex portfolio and deal flow, what are the unsexy AI pain points, boring but critical problems that you see as persistently underserved in Southeast Asia? What patterns have you observed among small AI teams that constantly punch above their weight and succeed in landing large B2B customers in Singapore? I guess part one, the answer is, couple example. One is Janio, which is our company based out of Singapore, providing supply chain and logistic optimization. And we have another company called Certa, which is a B2B data clearing and cleaning integrations and compliance software solution. And then last but not least, Patsnap, but this is the artificial intelligence technology company, by providing the business intelligence and R&D information to business customers to better able to draw insights into technology. As to your part two portions, I guess, hyper focus on solving a high value niche problem, deep customer collaboration and co-development, and of course, it's important to quick to generate return on investments. And founders need to be technically adept and commercially savvy to recognize the opportunities. How would you assess the overall performance of the tech VC PE space in Southeast Asia over the last decade? What strategy or approaches have been adopted by the higher tier of performance? How do you see this changing over time? While Southeast Asia venture capital generally has done well in the seed stage and early stage of funding, there are some successfully scaled to a sizable region, and these are namely some of the examples will be the Patsnap, RPG, Gravina, Razer, Grab, to name a few. And all these are Southeast Asia companies who are successfully execute and scale the business beyond just a single market and single product. High performance are disciplined, backed by fundamentals, and have regional and global scale as well as operational networks. The current downward, while painful for many, is an important lesson. I hope eventually we will get through this, and hopefully many of us will remember this lesson and be more disciplined on investment in going forward.